We as humans have a strong desire to be a part of something, and those who are attempting to gain their own independence also struggle with a sense of belonging while away from home. Humans desire comfort in a fearful and uncertain world. Many turn to cults to promote exactly that. Some individuals who join these remain members till the end of these cults or their lives, but a few feel they will be better back with society. These are the stories of those few.
Good morning, dear members of Kudzu family. Our goal to create a better world through diplomacy, understanding, and dedication is proven unwavering. As we embark on this journey together, let us remember that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice and understanding. Together, our collective strength and determination can move mountains. Let us move forward with unwavering resolve to reach our goals and put an end to the lies we are being fed. For together, we are the essence of peace.
In other news, Neil Trivette, the supposed leader of the cult the Kudzu, has been reported missing. It has been 17 hours now since Neil's disappearance was officially announced. If you or anyone that you know has information about Neil Trivette, please alert your local authorities as soon as possible.
So tell me, what do you know about this cult that Neil Trivette was running?
To be honest, not much. I would always just feel a little bit off, I guess, when talking to any of the cult members.
Now, it's officially been 72 hours since Neil Trivette was reported missing. As you can see, members of his cult have been plastering the streets with missing posters. No new evidence has been revealed to the public at this time, but if you know anything about where he may be, we would strongly advise you to come forward.
Neil was reportedly last seen entering his home at 8:15 last Saturday
We are here with
night.
a few of the alleged members of the Kudzu. For our viewers who may not be aware, the Kudzu is the cult that Neil started. Neil is.
Neil, if you're out there, if you're watching, please come back!
After weeks of searching and
Okay.
multiple investigations, the police have decided to officially end the search for Neil Trivette.
Well, folks, it looks like that's it. The hunt for Neil Trivette is officially over. Over.
Are you glad to finally talk about everything that happened?
Yeah, I think this is the first time I'll ever really be open about what I experienced.
So you never actually intended on joining the cult, did you?
I think a small part of me was genuinely interested, but I mostly viewed it as a joke. I never thought it would be this serious.
Did you ever want to join a cult?
Well, religion was always a big part of my life, so no, I never planned on any of this happening. I tried to stay away from any kind of cult stuff, but something about this was different.
I think being around Neil so much, hearing all of his ideas all of the time, it made my decision easier.
True stories.
The Kudzu was a cult that Neil created from the idea that trees were slowly killing humans with the oxygen they make.
Neil was always coming up with these crazy theories. So the fact that he made a cult about fake trees killing people in the government, if you knew him, it made sense.
Neil was fully convinced the government was using trees to slowly kill humans. And as far as I'm aware, there's no concrete evidence that he was wrong.
From 3 ex-Kudzu members.
Neil was able to really convince anyone that he spoke to that everything he was preaching was factual information.
Neil had this intense, mesmerizing, kind of entrancing way about him.
I think that's the reason so many people stayed. They didn't have a choice. They had to believe in Neil.
Neil started to become almost like a god to us, and we all loved it. No one really seemed to have a problem with it.
And because of the power he held, he thought he could get away with anything.
He realized that people would follow him wherever he went, and he started to use that to his advantage. We would listen to whatever he told us to do. We were just his little minions.
I don't think there was a time that any one of us in that cult doubted what Neil was saying.
Once the cult started to gain more traction, Neil stopped worrying about hiding it from the public.
Neil wanted the cult to be as big as possible, and Lord knows he had no intentions of hiding it.
They were some of the craziest some bitches I ever seen.
Neil!
You know, I was involved in my fair share of learning the truth. To be honest, it was some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Not many people were happy with what Neil was fighting for, or the way that he was doing it, which made him a target for a lot of people, but it also made him popular.
Well, he had his friends, but because of the cult, he had a lot more enemies.
That cult would constantly walk through the streets chanting about whatever the hell he got people to believe. It's always bothered me because this is a small town and the last thing most people want here is to attract more attention.
Most of us started to notice that all the complaining and backlash towards the cult started to get to Neil after a while.
Well, you know, this was his brainchild, so when people were hating on him, it just didn't sit well with Neil.
Neil started to get super agitated with anyone who disliked the cult. And I remember a few times Neil had gotten into physical altercations with people while we were out as a group.
The only interaction I had with Neil was when he tried to get me to join his cult. And when I declined the offer, he threatened to throw an 18-wheeler at my skull. I don't even know how the hell he'd even do that. But that's not even like a good way to meet someone.
A 4-part documentary series.
From the mix of people who just had it out for him, I mean, he was in deep with fraud and dead. It doesn't really surprise anybody. He just disappeared.
About the tragedy that was the kudzu.
I honestly don't know what I think happened to Neil, and I don't think I or anyone else will ever know.
I believe that Neil just pissed off the wrong person. I mean, he was so infatuated with this cult. He was willing to do anything to defend it, defend him, defend his image.
I believe Neil is out there somewhere, and I'm not gonna stop searching until I at least get an answer.
The tragic aftermath of Neil Trivette.